Hello, everybody. Heading into that Thanksgiving holiday, seems pretty natural to go live and see who's out there and who wants to interact a little bit. So we can be engaged in a way, maybe today, that we can encourage some innocence. Innocence has been a theme that's continued to arise with that sense or that force that we could just call curiosity. And curiosity. I know we say that a lot. I know that's pointed to pretty frequently. Curiosity seems to be the very force that is innocence. So, how is curiosity arising? Today, what kind of questions do you have? We can start with a Koan Kard. Let's just mix these up. Let's see. Let's start with this one. Oof, this one's been coming up quite a bit. Let's see if you can read that. Say, feel, I don't care, I don't need to care. Oh, check it out. The shirt's a Koan Kard shirt this week. So, okay, that card, I don't care, I don't need to care. It doesn't point to compassion or lack of compassion. It isn't pointing to cynicism. Caring has everything to do with the narrative, the sense of anticipation, the sense of expectation of what is to come. So when that particular pointing arises, I don't care, I don't need to care, it's more about results. This, ironically, synchronicity actually is arising here. I don't care, I don't need to care is pointing to curiosity, yet not for an outcome. It is pointing to curiosity in terms of just engagement. Engagement for no reason, for no purpose, just complete and absolute engagement. Not to care about what's going to happen. I know that's it's a state of being that isn't really a skill set or doesn't really have a methodology, yet it's definitely something that's always there. And so maybe you can explore and experiment with what needs to be anticipated, what expectations are present here, and how fully engaged you can be with this moment. Because what seems to happen in the present is there isn't any caring about what's going to happen or what the results might be. Does anybody have any particular questions out there that would like to ask in the chat? Another thing that's come up quite a bit recently is the aspect of freedom of expression and freedom of sexual expression. And I know that one can be a little bit muddy for a lot of you out there. Sexuality seems to be an aspect of this truest nature. And if there's any muting of that or any avoidance of that, it does seem to create the very networking that identity relies upon. It's interesting. We just are what we are. Our truest nature cannot be altered. And it seems like the identity is constantly attempting to tell us that this truest nature, there's something wrong with that and it needs to be fixed or altered or changed. And there's all this orientation around that because we are dangerous if we aren't kept under wraps, or we are chaotic or hurtful. Yet it doesn't actually seem to be the case. Whatever this authenticity is, just is. And underneath it seems to be compassion. Compassion is an interesting experience as well. It seems like compassion, as it's arising, is recognition of innocence. That's it. It's the namaste. To experience compassion here is to recognize innocence here. To experience compassion with others is to recognize the innocence there. Interesting. It isn't about a result like the traditional sense of love. What do we get out of it? What do you get out of it? What do I do for you? What do you do for me? That's not it. It's seeing ourselves, mm, that's a tough way to put it, but seeing this in each other. All of this spawns from a place of innocence. Even the most harmful acts seem to be oriented around a sense of innocence. Even shame itself, upon really honest exploration, is connected with innocence. It's pretty powerful. I mean, there's something there in terms of shame is a lack of engagement with our truest nature, with what is innocent. And it doesn't seem like there's a better way to word this. Innocence just fits so well. It's Christmas vibes for those of you who may have celebrated Christmas. Right when you're approaching the tree on the morning that you get to open gifts, that's the sensation of innocence. The excitement, not necessarily for the discovering of what's in the gifts, the excitement that the gifts are there and that the time is now. It's pretty beautiful. You know, the word presence, the word present, to be present, that's a good one too. The mystery of the gift of what is here. How are you doing, Keith? Nice to see you again today. Do you have any question? Or should I pull another card just for the heck of it? All right. Let me pull a card. Ooh, this one's good. This one is what will help come to terms with the mechanism that is always seeking a pattern. Really, the identity seems to be a meaning-making machine or a pattern-seeking, pattern-creating, self-fulfilling, prophesizing machine. This one says, be with the effect. That one might have come up before. In these experiences of existence, we can start to enter into this conceptual seeking of a narrative to describe or explain what this is here. We can find a cause to an effect, or we can be looking for an origin, and that's what we call chasing the tail. So the card that says be with the effect, it's really just pointing toward presence, engagement, immersion with this. And it's kind of playing with words a little bit there. If there seems to be a cause, just be with the effect. That's where the emphasis is. This right here, if we were playing the game of cause and effect, this is the effect. This is all that matters. The effect is it. I think you might find that pattern-seeking machine of cause to effect, that particular pattern-seeking machine is just distraction from this. So if we're no longer seeking cause, we are just resting here. Sensations, this, bringing it really close to home, watching the constructs attempt to form, the sense of future, the sense of something over there, the sense that there might be a lack of wholeness. You will see that there's probably a sensation associated with that, but that doesn't mean that the thought is creating the sensation. The sensation is present. The thought is coloring it. The thought is attempting to illustrate a sense of consistency with that. So to rest with the effect so thoroughly that you no longer have a sense of separation from cause to effect. It's all just effect. It's all this. There's something in that could be pretty valuable. All right, let's see. Hi, Tia. I'm unable to stay and participate, but could you pull me a Koan card? Yes. Tia, I shall. This one's moving a little bit more toward a koan. This one is pointing to there is no location. This one can be good for those of you who may be about to head to retreat. There is no location is part of that construct machine to say, I'm going to be at retreat. There's a sense of future there, but there's also a sense of being somewhere else other than here. There's no location is pointing to all we have is here. And even in the journey to wherever there seems to be, all we have is here the whole time, the whole way, until we are here and maybe what feels like a separate location. There is no location is also asking or pointing to the fact that this is not isolated, this is not separate. It's all based on reference. The inquiry that comes naturally with there is no location is, where am I? If an answer arises, continue allowing that question. Here's some fun with innocence. If you've ever spent time with a toddler, if you're a parent or otherwise, and they ask a question and you give them an answer, sometimes or often the question why comes up. Why are trees so tall? Oh, well, there's lignin and all these particular things, and it helps them grow closer to the light. Why? Well, because they use photosynthesis in order to create food. Why? With that particular aspect of inquiry, you begin to find that if an answer arises, inquire there. Let the inquiry become natural. If there is an answer to where am I, inquire there. Inquire until there doesn't seem to be an answer. Ultimately, you'll see that all inquiry is essentially rhetorical, or the most fundamental form of inquiry is observation. And then we become curious about what is observing. What is observing what? What is referencing what? Yet it seems to show up in these layers that peel like an onion. Or we could even have it be like a page turning in a book. All right, let's look. Kelly, noticing the innocence of wanting things to be different. Compassion is like the peanut butter that seems to dissolve the gum of resistance. Peanut butter dissolving gum. Love that. Yeah. Yeah, even this desire that seems really apparent to show up of wanting things to be different or should as it arises, it is still stemming from a space of innocence. Examine there. Because then we can see that desire isn't us. It's just another aspect of reference. And then it begins to interpret itself or enter into a feedback loop of energy that turns into a sense of avoidance and resistance, that turns into interpretation and assumption. It's pretty interesting. Go all the way. If you feel like you've landed at a platform, look closer. Is that another veil or another assumption or another interpretation? Yeah, compassion is truly a recognition of that which is innocent. Nature can help quite a bit just to observe nature doing what nature does. Just right now, there was a large clump of snow that fell off a branch, and there's something so innocent about that. The way the birds are hopping around from limb to limb, the gentle motion of the trees as the wind blows. It can be felt. It's clear. There's innocence in that. Juicy. All right, Kelly. This one's good. This one's good for those of us who have a very strong seeking muscle. This one says, it doesn't go anywhere. The experience doesn't leave. It may seem to change, but maybe it doesn't change. It may seem to be dynamic and moving, but maybe not. The whole point is, where does it go? That's a good inquiry, actually. If you've had some powerful glimpses or some seemingly intense experiences, and that seems to be contrasted with an aspect of everyday life, you can see if you can allow yourself to get still and ask yourself, well, where is it now? Where did it go? Having it seeming like it goes somewhere or something that is lost, that is a strong and compulsive assumption. Look there, look closer. Where did it go? Where could it go? Listen to the thoughts as they arise. Bet you can feel it all the time. Happy Thanksgiving, Tia. All right, can I have a card as well? Yeah, hi. Eva, let's see. This one is about the construct of, and this can be a really powerful construct, the sense of time that it seems so pervasive. And really what I'm pointing to is the narrative of memory and how that seems to project itself into a future event. This one says, can you find the boundary between then and now? It's completely worthwhile to explore that. I only have a few more minutes before my next session, but is there a boundary between then and now? Is there a cutoff point? Zoom in. Can you feel or sense a difference between then and now, or has it always somehow been now? It's definitely worthwhile to explore that. Good to catch you. I've been loving your parenting advice as well as synchronicity with your Koan cards. Can you pull one for me? Yes. Let's see. Still got some time. Well, this one's a pretty solid pointer. What cannot be felt? It's a good inquiry, actually. What cannot be felt? Even thought seems to be a sense. We're sensing something. It's a sense. And also look into what is feeling. Is it just a body sensation? Is there something more? Let the body be a transitionary space. It's all felt. I mean, maybe right here, right now, if you just allow yourself to rest with it. Can you feel that? It might be subtle at first. Can you sense that? It's not. Can't really put our finger on it. It's kind of part of it, but it's felt. That's a good one. Let's see. Kelly says, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, nowhere to be lost. Perfect. Thank you. This is at Paris. Where can I get those? Are they for sale? So these are currently, there's a print run of these in development. So these will eventually be up probably on the Etsy store. And you'll be able to get a deck. It looks like there's probably going to be 3 of these decks, or at least 2. There are 72 cards, each of the decks. It just, for some reason, turned out like the first one that was created was perfectly 72. So it just seems like a perfect little standard for that. I do have a session coming up with someone who's actually visiting us right now, and Jess. So I'm going to roll, but before I go, we're going to ask one more card. And this one is, where is the end? Ooh, that one's so good. Where is the end? Is there an end? Do we actually want an end? Is there an end? An end to what? What can be? What can end? What can end? Juicy. Nice to see everyone today. Thank you for joining, and I'll talk to you soon. Maybe before Thanksgiving. If not, have a great holiday for those who celebrate.